Alrighty then. Hey guys, welcome to the fourth episode of Do Dope Shit. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And yeah, as always, like to start it off as everyone has their story. Let their story inspire you to go out there and achieve greatness. And I'd like to introduce today's guest, Zuri Connor of OK Zuri.
Hello.
So this is like one of my favorite people in the world, like my favorite introvert. But yeah, like so happy to have you on here. Like you are also a person who inspired me to go out there and do this, especially how you went out there to go do OK Zuri. So, but yeah, we're gonna actually start off with the first question. So, Zuri,
Yes.
explain to us exactly what OK Zuri is.
Okay. So OK Zuri is my blog that I created. Funny thing is, I created it almost a year ago, but I didn't make it live until the fall. So I was working on it all summer, just as a little project for myself to get myself back into my writing. I've been a writer my whole life, and I kind of abandoned that when I started working and things like that. So it was kind of a project for me to just get back writing and publishing my own work.
Yeah, I remember that conversation that we had at the rooftop party when you actually told me that. It was like, so Courtney, I have something to tell you. And I'm like, and then it was just so phenomenal. Like I knew you were working on it. I just didn't know like to what extent.
Yeah.
You put out 3 pieces like the first day that you announced it to the public.
Gosh.
So
I put out 3 pieces, and I had written a review of the Get Down that never went live. That's how long I've been writing. That's how long I've been working on it.
And the Get Down has been out for a while.
Yeah,
so.
I think the Get Down came out in like August.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of pieces written. I still do. I have like a whole Google Drive folder full of pieces that I've written, and I wanted to go live with content, and I just wanted to invest in myself and like have a real website. I didn't want to do like a like when the website's on your site where it's like .blogger.com .word. I didn't want to do that. I wanted my own domain name, and I just wanted to have my own thing out there in the world.
That's dope, and it is yours. OK Zuri. Friends are dope. So yeah, that's just so phenomenal that you kind of had that vision for yourself, and it went from this vision to going out there and actually attacking it, and then when it happened, it's just so. It's so not funny, but it's just, I'm like your biggest cheerleader. So when your one piece just went viral, it was about protecting your peace. Yeah. That one was just like people are sharing my friends. That's my friend.
Right.
That's my tutu. So that's just so amazing that it's like I just see my friends out there doing great things. So
thank you.
No problem. So can you explain to us your journey with It's OK Zuri.
Right.
With OK Zuri, and how did it get started?
Okay, so I originally wanted to do a different name. So a bit of my holdup was me trying to figure out what name I wanted to use, because the original domain that I wanted was taken. And that was kind of a barrier to me, but I decided to just push forward and come up with a different name for it. But like I said, I had finished graduate school, and I really felt like this void in my life as far as my writing, because I used to write regularly my whole life, all the way down to when I first started to learn how to write. Reading and writing are a big part of my life. That's why I studied it for my bachelor's degree. But then I went on to graduate school. I became an educator, which I genuinely do love, but I kind of felt like this void from not doing my writing. So creating the website was a way for me to get back in the practice of writing again, because I realized when I would try to write, it wasn't as fluid as it used to be. It wasn't as easy for me as it used to be. So I was like, that's because I'm not writing. I'm not writing for my own personal pleasure. I'm writing papers. I'm writing, reports and presentations and things like that. I'm not writing creatively. So I said, okay, well, let me create my blog so that I can get back in the habit of writing on a regular basis, and also getting over my fear of sharing my writing with people. Because for the longest, my writing was just personal to me. It was private. I would share it with my professors, and I had a lot of professors that would encourage me. At every single stage of my education, I've had a teacher or a professor encourage me to take my writing seriously. Whether that was to enter into a contest or try to submit something to get published. I even just within grad school, just a year ago, I had a professor say, you should submit this to a journal, an academic journal. And I was like, oh girl.
I can imagine you. And then do a corny laugh, girl.
I was like, thanks. And just brushing it off. And I'm like, how many times, people are going to tell me to take my writing seriously before I begin to do it for myself.
Right.
So I just decided that to get the wheel rolling, to get the momentum going, to just create my own blog and write topics for myself.
Okay. And yeah, it's so funny that you mentioned this. I just read your latest piece, and it talked about how you wanted to be authentic with people, especially going with your journey, with your journey with Christianity and everything such as that. So you want to be authentic, and I feel like the people actually do, they actually relate to that more when it's coming from your heart, like you're passionate about things. And it's just so funny, when you write things about TV shows, like how you wrote something about Burning Sands, and then you wrote something about Insecure, No Good Issa.
Whatever.
Team Lawrence. People could relate to that because it would, you were passionate about things, and then especially with your piece of actually about your piece of the most important thing to you, that related to so much to me. I was like,
yeah. And see, that's what I noticed. So one of the things I noticed within this journey was to do it my own way. And so when I first started my blog, I went on Twitter and Instagram, and I followed all these Black female bloggers. And I unfollowed all those Black female bloggers because they gave me anxiety. They were so serious. I would follow them and I would get an automatic message hi, thanks for following me. Be sure to check out my latest blog post. And I'm not saying that any of that is wrong. I think that's great, but that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah. So I started to feel a lot of pressure of okay, am I not taking this serious enough? I don't have a post up every Wednesday. What am I doing wrong? So I had to unfollow all those people so that I could do my blog my way. My most read blog posts have been blog posts that I wrote in 30 minutes and just edited and uploaded off of pure emotion and passion. Those have been my most read blog posts. The blog posts where I actually had to think of the theme and try to write around it, nobody read it. Nobody. Because they weren't true. I feel like you can feel my passion and you can hear my voice because there's no barrier. It's just all coming out. And so I decided, and that's why in that late post where it says, where have I been? I've been praying. I just decided that when I do write, I want it to be true and authentic to me. And I don't want to put these barriers on myself trying to follow somebody else's formula when I need to just let my own story unfold.
Absolutely. So that actually fits right into the next question, actually. So what has been the most challenging thing about OK Zuri?
Yeah, the most challenging thing is being consistent. And that's something that I struggle with because I do want to post on a regular basis, I don't want to post things that aren't authentic. So I'm like in this weird space right now where I'm like, okay, I haven't written anything in a while, but I'm also like, well, I haven't been inspired to write. So what do? You know, so that's what's been challenging for me right now. Is actually like finding that balance between being consistent and being authentic.
Okay. And this wasn't a question I gave you, but I kind of want to feed more into it, you know. So, in most of your writing, like, where does your inspiration come from?
Most of the time, it's from my real everyday life. It could be something that just happened that day, or I commute 35 minutes to work and back. It could be something I was just thinking of on the road. Something that a conversation that me and my friends had, and then it's just like a light bulb goes off, and the words pour out. And when that happens, those are usually the posts that people receive better.
Awesome. So yeah, you probably might have a lot of writing to do this summer because we're gonna live it up.
Yes.
Like, so just a funny conversation, you know, that me and Zuri have off. Like, I already have like an agenda of stuff that I'm dragging her to. So
I didn't know that.
Yes, you did.
I'm sure I knew that, but I wasn't going to accept it.
Yeah, well, you are. But yeah, so and then kind of going the opposite route of that, what has been your biggest come up?
All right, my biggest come up have been the post where, like you said, when people are sharing them and I don't even know these people. So my it's time to dethrone the what if guy post. I think it reached either almost close to or over 1,000 readers.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get to really see that because once I share it, I don't get to see who shared it from there.
Yeah.
I can see like my Facebook friends who shared it, but once their friends start to share it, and then I just don't know. You know, it becomes out of my hands, and I haven't really mastered like using Google Analytics and things like that. But that post did receive close to 1,000 readers, and it was to the point where like it was being shared on Twitter and it was being shared on Facebook. And a lot of people related to it, and so that for me was just like validation, because that was like the first time something really hit, and I was like, okay, I'm doing something right. Like, people are reading my posts and they're getting some type of emotional reaction out of it. A big goal of my blog is to share stories, because I feel like there's a lot of healing power in sharing our stories with people. Because somebody can relate to your story, and you might say something that inspires thought, inspires dialogue. So that's a huge goal of mine. So when people were sharing that and they were like, yes, like I feel this, I'm there, I've experienced this, you know, that really made me feel good. And so so with that one and the my piece is non-negotiable, posts like that, where people get them and it feels good and they want to share it so that people can, you know, so they can basically say, this is how I feel too. That feels so good to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, I just be reading everything. Like, bro, like,
it's deep.
This is deep. This is so deep. I mean, all of our conversations are always deep.
They're always
so,
deep,
yeah.
I know, like we were having a deep conversation on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And I try not to be deep all the time. This is where I can be deep and not have to worry about, like, am I getting on people's nerves because I'm being too deep.
Right. No, I mean, I think like majority of our conversations, it turns off into, you know, let's just go out, like, have a good time. But then it always kind of evolves into something deep, because we always have something going on in life. Like,
and see, in my blog, I can be deep. I can just be deep off the bat, you know. And because a lot of people don't want to have deep conversations with me all the time. I know you don't mind, but a lot of people don't. And so for me, it's therapeutic, because I can go and I can get that stuff out.
Awesome. So the big question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Okay, so in 5 years, the funny thing about what I'm doing is that the writing that I do for my blog is nonfiction. I want to be published in creative fiction.
Yes.
So I want to write a novel. In fact, I am in the process of writing a novel right now. But I want to do the same thing I do with my blogs, but with a story. So, and if you notice, with a lot of my blog posts, I started off with telling a story, even if it's just like a paragraph or so, because I tell a story and then I kind of want to usher that into like what the topic is and like where I'm going with it. But I want to take like these life lessons and these life experiences and like all these different topics that affect us, especially Black people, Black women, and I want to write novels touching on those topics. And I feel like I have the background to do that. I have my bachelor's degree in English and communication, and then I have a master's degree in education. And what I want is I want my novels to be the types of stories that can be used in a classroom.
Yes.
Stories that can be used in a book club, things that inspire thought and dialogue, and continuing conversations and like, you know, exposing the realities of people's experiences and things like that. So I'm working on a novel right now. And so hopefully in 5 years, you know, I might be published. And I said that even if I don't get published the traditional route, I'm doing something for myself. I don't know if it'll be an ebook or like if I'll publish it to my blog, whatever. Like I want to finish a project and get it out there into the world.
All right. I'm glad that you did mention that because I was going to ask, was it comfortable for me to actually bring up the book? She keeps her project secrets from a lot of you guys.
I do keep my project secret. So if I'm telling people, or if I'm telling you, or if I let you get a sneak peek, which is that list is even smaller.
Yeah.
It's basically non-existent. But I keep my projects private because I know my personality and I know that I am sensitive. And so if I say like, oh, I'm working on this, and you're like, what? And my feelings will be hurt.
Right.
So I keep stuff private to me to kind of protect it. You know what I mean? And I share it with the people that I trust, that I know are going to support me. You know, like I got my mom giving me ideas like what I should have in my book, or like, you know, I have some of my friends reading it and giving me feedback. And kind of pushing me like, hey, when is this chapter coming out? Is this chapter done?
Yeah.
You know, so, but for the most part, I'm not gonna go on Facebook like, hey, y'all, I'm writing a novel.
You got it.
Cause I don't want, I'm not ready for that to be out there yet. And that's like a big part of knowing yourself. And like I said, I have to unfollow those bloggers, or I have to keep my projects private enough, but still share them and get over my fear of sharing my projects. That's why, like, I started the blog. One of the hardest things for me was to make it live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, my friends had the link before the world did. So, you know, just really knowing myself and like challenging myself in the areas where I need challenge, but also like respecting things about myself that are like true and authentic to me. Like I'm sensitive. That's just what it is.
Yes.
So, you know, then I need to protect things that are sensitive to me, but then I also need to challenge myself and put things out there too.
And kind of go into that, I like where you said, you know, like not announcing it to the world, because at the end of the day, I feel like people do more announcements and less work.
Yes.
And it's kind of refreshing to see, you know, you're actually out there doing the work and making less announcements.
Yeah.
And then I kind of agree with you where you said, you know, sharing it with, you know, your closest people. So, I mean, even with this, I only shared it with 3 people, you, B.O., and Camille, so.
Thank you.
So, I mean, at that, like, I do feel we need to keep it, we do need to keep it secret, but we also need to get that positive feedback because, you know, even, like, I'm just relaying this to, okay, Zuri, like, I got your feedback on the initial video that I did, and it was feedback that I needed to, you know, kind of take a step back and then make it better.
Oh, you definitely need feedback. Like, with my blog posts, I just started posting now without sharing them with my friends first. But first I would have my friends read them, and they would catch typos for me, or they would kind of push me to go a little deeper. things like that. They're like, take this part right here and go a little deeper. So having that circle and that community of people, and that's something that I actually wanted to speak on, is like as a creative, as an entrepreneur, or whatever it is that you're like trying to do for yourself, creating a community of people who can support you and lift you up in a way that's constructive.
Yeah.
People that actually know what they're talking about. I don't share my writing a lot with people who don't respect writing or literature or communication. I share my writing with other writers, with actors, with readers, people who study literature, because they're within that community and they can respect my creative process and they know how to provide me feedback. I don't go and give my novel draft to somebody that don't read.
Right.
Like
when was the last time you read a book? 2000.
Right. But I still believe that you should have that community of people to like lift you up. And like I said, I know I have a good range of like, when should I protect it and keep it close, and when is it time to pull the trigger and release it to the world. Yeah. And so that's what I've been doing.
Awesome. So I am so excited about that. I'm excited to read. I haven't had a good read in a while, actually. So, and then so the next question that I have for you, what can the community do to help you out?
Honestly, I love the feedback. I get a lot of feedback. I get people who like write me, text me, things like that, and tell me they related to something that I wrote. But if you really want to help me out, just share it.
Yes.
It ain't nothing, just share it, because you never know. Like, you're not even just helping me, like giving me exposure. You might be helping somebody who can relate to what I wrote, So that to me is like the best thing you could do for me at this stage of my journey, is that if you come across something and you love it, you relate to it, you can always comment on it. You can always, send the link to your friends, but just share it. And help me reach other people.
Awesome. You can go on my page too. I share all her stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So Zuri, like the last and final question that I have for you is, what advice do you have for those out there who want to go out there and do dope shit just like you?
Yes. Okay. So, I think that one of the things that held me up a long time with my writing was this notion of like it was all or nothing. Like, I either had to be a full-time professional writer or I couldn't be a writer at all. And that's not true, especially in this day and age that we live in, where you can create from the comfort of your own home. So I would just advise people to do something, whether you can commit to it one day out of the week or you can commit to it every day. Just do something for yourself, do something for your brand, for your project. Just get the ball rolling, because it'll grow, and you'll pick up that habit and you'll get used to doing it again and you'll want to do more. It's okay to not be like this person. It's like, I quit my job and I started my business. That's not everybody's story.
That is not.
It's not everybody's story, and it's okay if that's not your story. I think those stories are inspirational, but I think that like for somebody like me, I can't quit my job and be a writer. And I love my job. I actually like working with kids. I like working in education. So, just do something for yourself. If it means coming home and spending an hour, or maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Mondays and Wednesdays, or every Saturday, do something for yourself.
Thank you so much. Like that. I think everybody needs to hear that advice, because that's kind of where Do Dope Shit wants to do for, everyone. Is like actually promote them to start somewhere. Like wherever you start, just go out there. Like kind of ensure your future, and that you're making the best life you can for yourself. So like, I want to thank you so much, Nice Area.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Like, I know this is probably going to inspire a lot of people. It inspires me as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you so much, and we will see you next week for the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.